Hello and welcome to Vinyasa Flow Yoga. My name is Michelle Chua. So actually the first half is Vinyasa Flow and the second half is Yin and restorative yoga. So grab all the props that you might need for both halves. 2 blocks, a strap, a blanket, a pillow, all that good stuff. And I invite you to start in child's pose. Though I'm sitting up so that I can read something out loud, go ahead and bring your head to the floor, hips back towards your feet, feet together at the rear of your mat, and place your arms wherever it's comfortable for you. And allow a moment here to ground and mentally, physically arrive. Sensing what's present in your physical body, the quality of the breath, and your inner states, mental, emotional. And allow the breath to deepen. Invite the inhale through the nose. Slowly exhale through the mouth. And a few more times, inhaling a little bit slower, a little deeper. Exhaling a length that matches the in-breath. So we talked about in our last class together how we can be with fear and still step forward, and how it's important to cultivate mindfulness of difficult emotions such as fear. So a little bit more on that from Tara Brach and her book, Radical Acceptance, Embracing Your Life with the Heart of Buddha. When we come face to face with the fear and pain in our psyche, we stand at the gateway to tremendous renewal and freedom. Our deepest nature is awareness. And when we fully inhabit that, we love freely and are whole. This is the power of radical acceptance. When we stop fighting the energy that has been bound in fear, it naturally releases into the boundless sea of awareness. The more we awaken from the grip of fear, the more radiant and free becomes our hearts. So as you start to roll yourself up, please find a way to sit in Virasana, hero's pose, and that's where you place your shins on the floor. Set your knees in front of you, no wider than hips distance apart, and point your toes back. Bring your hands to meet at your heart. As you sit up tall, grounded, soften the shoulders back and down. And I invite you to take a moment to call to mind, if anything comes up, an aspect in your life in which you might be facing fear of some kind. As we're in the tail end of the pandemic, so much of fear has been throughout our media. And in Europe, wars happening in different parts of the world, that can conjure up fear as well. And is there one particular area that you might like to set an intention in which you bring awareness to that fear, a loving awareness, not so that it consumes you, but rather so that you can bring attention to it. Let this physical practice be a means of guiding energy in motion or emotion. So as you move your body, the fear doesn't paralyze you, but you practice moving with it and taking a step forward. And you might use this particular situation in our guided meditation in the end by Tara Brach. So clarify your intention, your personal prayer, and then call to mind someone or something, a community, a cause that's important to you that you might choose to dedicate this practice to today. And as we share our practice together, let's join our voices, chanting 3 ohms to create resonance. Let in a deep breath. Om. to balance your breath with the lips closed, in and out. Softly narrow or constrict the back of your throat to invite a subtle, soft whispering sound that you could listen to throughout this movement part of the practice. Ujjayi pranayama, victorious breathing. Let it invite an inner state of calm, even when perhaps approaching challenging movements or postures if they come up. So listen to your breath, and let's come down to hands and knees, preparing to start a few rounds of Betalasana cat-cow pose. Excuse me, Luke. Set your knees a couple inches behind your hips, set your wrists right under your shoulders. As you breathe in, glide your chest forward and roll your shoulders down into cow pose. As you breathe out, contract your belly, drop your head to round into cat pose. Take that another 5 or so more times at your own pace of breath, nice and slow. And at the end of your next exhalation, relax to a neutral spine. And let's prepare for a twist in which we broaden the shoulder blades apart. So inhale, raise your right arm up. Exhale, thread it underneath your left, bend to elbow. Rest the right side of your head on the ground or on a prop. And we'll be here for about 7 slow breaths. Try to square your hips so they're even in height. You're not turning the pelvis, but you are turning the chest to face the left. Long, even, and gently audible breaths. So feel this protraction of your shoulder blades where they're spreading apart wider across your upper back. We're going to reference that later in other poses, as well as depression of the shoulder blades that's moving them down the back, away from the neck. At the end of this breath, press up to all fours. Let's take the second side. Inhale, raise your left arm up. Exhale, thread it underneath your right, bend to elbow. As you rest the left side of your head on the ground or on a prop, level out your 2 hips. You're not twisting at the pelvis, but you're twisting at the waistline as you're rotating the chest to face the right. And then again, feel your shoulder blades move down the back, stabilizing onto your back ribs. And as you spread the shoulder blades wider apart in protraction, also stabilizing the shoulders there. One more deep breath. In, thread the needle. And then press up to hands and knees and place your elbows on the floor so that your elbows are exactly shoulders distance apart. Interlace your fingers and root the outer sides of your wrists firmly into the ground so that you can lift off of the ground rather than sink towards it. Press the shoulder blades apart by rotating your triceps towards the back wall and depress the shoulder blades like we just did. Move them away from your neck. Gaze towards your thumbs so you're lengthening the neck, not collapsing the head. Tuck your toes and walk your feet back to straighten your legs, pressing the inner edges of your feet together. Forearm plank pose, a few breaths. Now notice if your pelvis might be lifting up like a peak of a mountain or dipping down like a valley. Instead, try to lengthen your tailbone towards your inner heels, in line with the crown of your head. How's the breath here? 3 more. As you firm the inner heels back, activate your quadriceps and lift the sides of your belly, the sides of your waist. 1 more deep breath. On an exhale, gently lower your knees, then your pelvis. Separate your forearms into Sphinx pose. Draw your heart forward and press your shoulders down your back. Feel the tops of your feet firming into the ground so much that as your pelvis stays on the floor, your knees are actually off the ground. Keep that action and slide the heels of your palms alongside your floating ribs. Hug your elbows towards your sides. Lower your forehead to the floor. Then inhale, roll the shoulders back and down into Cobra pose. Tuck your toes behind you. Then exhale, firm your belly and press up through plank into downward facing dog. Allow a few breaths here. If you want to move in your first downward dog, maybe pedaling your feet in place to warm up the backs of your legs. Listen to the breath here. Downward facing dog, bring your feet together to touch. And inhale, sweep your right leg behind you. Take a few breaths here to focus on turning your right outer hip to face the ground. If you look under your belly, see that all your right toes are curling towards the floor, not at all towards the right wall. Then even out the length on both sides of your torso by pressing the left hip back. Push off through the hands and lengthen the neck. One more breath. As you exhale, bend your right knee towards your nose, round forward to plank. Step the foot right between your hands for warrior two. Spin the back heel down. Inhale, cartwheel your arms apart, aligning front heel to arch a back foot. Few breaths here. So land your eyes just past your right hand. Rotate your right outer hip underneath your body, bending the front knee right on top of the heel and pointing it towards the right pinky toe. Press the outside edge of your left foot into the ground and firm the top of your left thigh bone back. Let's listen in to 2 more breaths. Flip your right palm to face up. Keep your hips low, but lifting your spine. Inhale, side bend towards the back wall, peaceful warrior. Then exhale, cartwheel your hands to plank pose. Continue to lower forward into Chaturanga Dandasana. Then inhale to Cobra or upward facing dog through a vinyasa. Exhale, downward facing dog. Bring your feet together to touch. Then inhale, sweep your left leg back. Pause and breathe. Look under your belly, see your left toes, turn them all to face the floor, and tack the right outer hip back. Press evenly through both palms. Take another deep breath as you firm the inner left heel back. Exhale, round forward to plank, bending left knee towards your nose. Step the foot through between the hands, spin the back heel down. Align heel to arch. Inhale, windmill your arms. Warrior two. Land your gaze at one spot just past your left hand. Heel your outer left hip and rotate it under your body slightly, bending the front knee just above the heel. Firm the top of your right thigh bone back. Last few breaths in Virabhadrasana 2. Keep your hips low. Flip your left palm to face up. Inhale, lift your spine, then side bend towards the back wall, peaceful warrior. As you exhale, cartwheel your hands into plank and lower through Chaturanga Dandasana. Finish it off with your vinyasa. We'll meet in downward facing dog. Pause here, let your body be still this time as you listen to 3 slow and steady breaths, establishing the rhythm for which will flow through sun salutation B at least 2 rounds. Bend your knees, look in front of your hands and empty your breath. Then walk or lightly jump to the top of your mat. Forward fold. Press blocks or the ground and inhale, lift your chest forward. Exhale, fold over your legs. Root down to your feet. Inhale, circle your arms, rise up to stand. Watch your palms meet overhead. Then exhale your hands together at your heart. Pause a moment with something you can appreciate right at this moment. With the energy of gratitude, come back to the intention that you set for this practice. Is there anything that you're strengthening courage to face? Can you embody what that would feel like as we flow? Inhale, bend your knees, feet together, chair pose. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise forward, lengthen the spine. Either walk to plank to lower or float into chaturanga. Keep going to cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, sweep your right leg back, square the hips again. Exhale, round forward, knee to nose. Step the foot beside your right thumb and spin the back heel down. Inhale to warrior one, facing forward. Ride the exhale all the way down through chaturanga and finish your vinyasa. Then at downward facing dog. Inhale, sweep your left leg back, keep the hips even. Round forward, exhale, knee to nose. Step the foot beside left thumb, back heel down. Inhale, warrior one. Ride the exhale all the way down, vinyasa. Downward facing dog, let your body be still as you cultivate focus. Listen to the breath, 3 rounds. After the third exhale, walk or lightly jump forward. Inhale, lengthen forward. Exhale, fold. Feet together, knees together. Inhale, sit back into chair pose. Exhale, rise up, mountain, hands at the heart. Let's take another round. Inhale, chair. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lengthen forward. Walk or float, finish into your vinyasa. At downward dog, inhale, raise your right leg, square your hips. Exhale, knee to nose, step the foot beside right thumb. Back heel down, inhale, warrior one. Exhale, lower into your vinyasa. Take the second side on your own, then we'll meet in downward dog. Three breaths in downward facing dog. After the third exhale, walk or float to the front. Inhale, lengthen forward. Exhale, fold. Bend your knees, inhale, chair pose. Lift your heels and sink your hips lower. Keep hugging the legs close together as you sink. Splay the knees apart and crawl your fingertips forward to either bow as you send the hips back or to prepare for kakasana or crow. Place your hands a foot in front of your toes if you're preparing for kakasana, which is crane pose. Hollow your belly, lift your hips. Look about 2 feet ahead of your fingertips on the ground. Steady the breath. Bend your elbows back like chaturanga, arms parallel, and hug your knees towards your outer armpits. Scoop the belly in and press down to lift up, tilting your weight forward. And if your elbows remain bent, that's crane pose, kakasana. If you're able to straighten your arms, that's crow pose, bakasana. And if you're still here, see if you can stay another 3 breaths. Let's meet in standing forward fold. Grab a strap, bend your knees. Inhale, roll up slowly to stand. Place your hands on your lower back, fingertips face down. Press your hips gently forward and lift the back ribs. Inhale, roll your shoulders back and down into a gentle back bend, supported by your hands. Hug the elbows close together to broaden your collarbones and breathe into your heart space. Invite buoyancy there. Couple more breaths. Keeping your feet parallel, spin your inner thighs slightly towards the back wall to avoid overarching the lower back. Press to your feet, inhale to rise. Step your left foot back 2/3 as far as you did in Warrior One. This time keep your legs straight. Hips facing forward, hold the strap in your left hand and raise the left arm, dangle the strap behind you. Rotate your left outer upper arm forward and bend the elbow behind your head. Reach the right hand under behind, catch the other end of the strap, and walk your hands as close together as you can. You might drop the strap if you are able to clasp the hands. Drop the shoulders and inhale, look up. Spread your toes, energize your legs, and start to bow forward breath by breath in pyramid pose with arms in cow face pose. So Parsvottanasana with your arms in Gomukhasana. So notice if the right hip wants to come way forward, tack it back and try to keep your two hips evenly facing forward. That idea of squaring the hips. One more breath. Start to lift your chest. Bend your right knee. Bring your hands together at your heart. Warrior Three. Optional to place your hands down on blocks or the floor. Spiral your inner left thigh towards the ceiling and flex your left toes downward. If you look back under your belly, you should see your left toes all facing down, not the left wall. Then tack the right hip back. Last few breaths here. Virabhadrasana 3. Place your hands down and bow towards your right shin while still lifting the left leg and squaring the hips, standing splits. Sense the quality of the breath here. Sometimes going upside down can conjure up some fear, especially if we're trying to balance in some way upside down like crow earlier. Notice how you can recognize what arises and have a sense of loving kindness for it as you take whatever steps are available forward. Step the left foot to meet the right, grab your strap, bend your knees, and inhale to roll up. Step the right foot back 2/3 as far as you did in Warrior One. Both legs straight, hips facing forward. Hold the strap in your right hand and dangle the tail of it behind your back. Rotate your right tricep forward and bring the right elbow behind your head. Reach your left hand under, grab the other end of the strap, and walk your hands as close together as you can, maybe clasping your hands. Root down to your feet. Inhale, roll your shoulders back and down, look up. Exhale, begin to bow forward from your hips. Take your time here. Bring your attention to your two hips. If that left hip wants to come forward way more than the right, tack it back. If the head wants to turn towards the left of the mat, bring it to the midline. 3 more breaths. Pyramid pose with arms in cow face pose. Bend your left knee slightly, lift your spine parallel to the floor, and join your hands at your heart. Tilt all your weight forward and lift the right leg back from the inseam. Curl your right toes to face the ground, Warrior Three. If you look under your belly, see the right toes facing down, tack the left hip back. A few more breaths. Virabhadrasana 3. Place your hands down on blocks or the floor. Keep lifting the right leg as you bow towards the left. Standing split. Keep squaring the hips, turning the right outer hip down. From here, step the right foot behind you and come onto hands and knees, all fours. Place your 2 blocks on their second level, medium height across your mat, just in front of your knees, and lean back for a moment to extend the arms forward. Rotate your triceps down and protract the shoulder blades as well as depress them. Then place your elbows bent, shoulders distance apart on the blocks, and press your fingertips together like you're holding a sphere between your palms. Then walk your knees back until they're about 2 inches behind your hips, and trace your thumbs down the back of your head, back of your neck, maybe towards the shoulder blades as you drop the head and sink the chest. Make sure the elbows do not splay wider than shoulders distance apart. Firm in the belly, so the belly is not dumping towards the floor here. You're lifting it actively towards the spine as you draw your sitting bones back. Another 3 full breaths here as we stretch the triceps and the lats. And slowly come on up, put the blocks aside, and we're gonna go through dolphin pose first round, and then layer it towards Salamba Shirshasana headstand, supported headstand, taking it to whatever layer you can work with. So let's breathe through it. Arms forward again, triceps down, shoulder blades depressed. Interlace your fingers and press your outer wrists into the floor, elbows on the ground, exactly shoulders width apart. Now have the interlacing of your fingers sort of loose. You're not pressing the palms together, you want them to be apart. Then here, let your head just hang freely. Use the forearms to root down as you lift energy up so the shoulders move away from the neck. Tuck your toes, take a deep breath. Exhale, lift the hips. If possible, walk your feet forward. Press your chest back towards your shins so that your shoulders are not hovering in front of your elbows. Rather, they're slightly behind your elbows. If the elbows slide apart, come back down and adjust. Make sure they stay shoulders distance. You might bring the feet together to touch. If available, you might lift one leg, making sure to square the hips. If you look under your belly, you see the toes pointing down, not turned out. Now, if you're gonna take dolphin pose on the second side and you're lifting a leg now, you might take the second leg up on the next round. Otherwise, take both sides here, and then we'll meet in child's pose. Let your arms rest down by your sides. You might turn one ear to the ground to stretch your neck. Couple of breaths, and then switch. All right, now we'll start in dolphin pose and add layers to it. You find the layer that's right for you. If you have any neck injuries or neck issues, don't put your head on the ground. Stay with dolphin pose. Set up the arms similarly, loose inner webbing of the palms, and find the very crown of your head. You can even touch it right now. Not the hairline, not the back of the head, but the very top center in which you can maintain the natural curve and length of your neck. That's the part of your head that you're gonna place on the ground. Those of you adding the layer, that's next. Back of the skull is lightly supported by the inner webbing of the palms. Rotate the triceps back, spread the shoulder blades apart. Use the forearms to press the ground firmly and lift the shoulders away from the neck. Tuck your toes, lift your hips, maybe walk the feet forward. Perhaps this is where you'll stay. Or raise a leg, keep the hips squared, curl the toes towards the shin. You might raise that leg to the extent that the opposite foot starts to lift off the floor through the work of the hamstrings. If so, you can raise the other leg to meet the lifted foot until you have a vertical line pressing up through the insteps of your connected feet, reaching the tailbone up towards your inner heels, hugging the bottom of your front ribs in towards your back. and continuing to root down to your forearms and elbows and even the crown of your head to rise up. How's the breath? This is supported headstand. Consider the king of asanas because of its way of energizing mind and body. It activates the sympathetic nervous system, which is also needed at times. Resets the nervous system, stimulates your circulation, builds confidence in meeting challenges or unfamiliarity, uncertainty by going upside down and trying to balance. When you're ready to, let's meet in child's pose. Place your arms wherever you like, and perhaps even place your forehead on a prop. Let's slow down the breath here. Exhaling a little longer than you inhale as we begin the yin portion of our practice. Stay in child's pose. I'm just going to change the music. So you might count as you breathe in to 5, and as you breathe out to 7. So inhaling 5 counts, exhaling 7 counts. Another breath or two here in Balasana, child's pose. And place your hands alongside your knees. Drop your chin towards your chest. As you press into the ground, inhale, slowly roll your spine upright. Come to sit at the middle of your mat with your legs in front of you. Grab your blanket and unfold it so that it can be a rectangle, at least arm's width long. Maybe like this. And then roll that rectangle into a cylinder, a long burrito, firmly and smoothly as you can. This is the arts and crafts portion of our practice. Keep the breath going. Let this be part of the practice. Stay in the focus of your intention as you're setting this up. Now, once you have that cylindrical pillow, just lay it off to the side and grab your 2 yoga blocks. We're gonna open up the fronts of the shoulders in supported Mayurasana, supported fish pose. It's a heart opening back bend. Now, you might start off with tallest height of the block, back of the mat for the back of your head, medium height, second level of the block across the mat for underneath the bottom tips of your shoulder blades. But if your shoulders are feeling pretty loose, you might go ahead and tilt the tallest block to the medium height so you have an equal sign out of your blocks, or go even further and tilt the block that's going to be under your head 1 step lower. You can feel it out once you lie back. Now, as you're still sitting up, bring the soles of your feet together to touch. We're going to prepare for supported bound angle pose with the legs. Supta Baddha Konasana. So take the cylinder pillow and cross the middle of it on top of your inner ankles. Tuck the sides of it underneath your outer thighs. So the more that you tuck, or the thicker it is, the more you're supporting your thighs if there is tightness in the hips. And then the less, opens them wider. And then keep your pelvis on the floor, start to lean back, aim for the area that's right under the bottom tips of your scapula. And you can also decide if you want that block that's going to be under the shoulder blades to go across your mat or to go tracing the midline of your mat. Play with it and adjust. Find the variation that your body is guiding you towards through its sensations. Like if you normally do one particular version all the time, you might experiment with something different and see how that sits. Make any loving adjustments so that you can comfortably be here for a few minutes, 2 to 3 minutes at least. Then you might roll the fronts of your shoulders back. Make sure to walk your shoulder blades down your back so you're lengthening the back of your neck and the front of your neck. And you might rest the palms face up just slightly beside your or away from your thighs. Closing your eyes. Relax the corners of your eyes, inner and outer. Relax your ears, inner and outer. Soften your tongue. And allow a few more deep breaths into your chest, especially spreading the collarbones wide apart. And as you breathe out, let the shoulder bones sink more easily. Notice if there's a part of your body trying to do work while you're resting in this pose. Bring your awareness to those areas of contraction, tension, or engagement. Sometimes that's all they need in order to have permission to let go. And with that, allow a few last deeply cleansing exhales through your mouth before you let go of controlling your breath too. Then let the belly soften, let the glutes relax. Feel your pelvic floor relax too. Palms, soles of the feet soften. Let yourself fully be here. Your attention on whatever arises in your physical body, in your mind, in the breath, feelings, or emotions. Be here now. Allow a few more breaths to just pass through. Again, no need to control it, just observe it. We'll start with very small movements like softly turning your head to one side, just a little bit, and then the other. Rubbing your thumbs across your fingertips. Notice what that feels like. And then maybe reaching the arms overhead, stretching the arms or catching opposite elbows. And then maybe switching elbows. Keep observing the breath here, just letting it flow as is. And bring your hands down to the outer thighs, removing whatever might be tucked under there. Lifting your thighs, step your feet on the floor. And separate your feet wider apart than hips distance on the ground. Drop your knees together to touch. Rest your hands both on your belly or a hand at the heart center, a hand at the navel. Again, just observe here for a moment. We're slowly transitioning. And now let the arms release towards the floor. Decide which way of coming up is the path of least resistance for you, for your body. Whether you roll over to one side and gently press the ground away, or you start to press both hands down and lift your head forward to come up. We'll put the blocks aside and come to sit with the legs in front of us, preparing for a seated spinal twist. Now, as you're bringing your legs in front of you, note your spine, specifically your lower back. Does it begin to round? Does the belly start to go in? If so, take your folded blanket, pillow, or block and adjust to the height that you need to elevate your sitting bones on. Sit towards the front edge of that prop. Encourage some release in the hip flexors where that rounding might be happening or why that rounding might be happening. Then extend your right leg forward and bend your left knee. Step the left foot on the ground just in front of your left hip. Holding the shin with both hands, send your shoulders down as you sit up tall. Now right here, place the left hand on the ground behind your pelvis and begin to turn your chest to the left. So we're not really trying to torque the body. Let it be almost a passive twist. We are doing work to turn the chest. But let the natural breath inspire that movement. We won't be here for too long, just about 5 more natural breaths. And when you're ready, unwind your spine and straighten your left leg forward. Step your right foot on the ground in front of the hip. Hold the shin with both hands. Just feel your 2 sitting bones rooting down, your spine lifting up, your shoulders relaxing down. Place the right hand on the floor behind your pelvis. And then allow the rib cage to turn to the right. Easy, slowly, just like the softness of the breath. And observe 2 more natural breaths here before you unwind. And then when you're ready, extend your legs open towards a straddle. We're not going for ultimate stretch here. Just an opening in the inner thighs as we're about to fold forward. Now you may want to stack some blocks in front of you or make an incline with a pillow so that the back edge of that pillow, the part that's furthest away from your pelvis, is stacked on blocks. And then start to ground your sitting bones. Make sure your knees are pointing up in this pose when you fold. They don't start to point forward. So keep your sitting bones planted and then start to lean into the forward folds. If you're turning your head to one side, this is about midway of our time here. Turn your head to the opposite side to balance off your neck. And then gently press into the ground with your hands. Slowly lift your head. Take your time coming up. Find a way to sit upright for a brief practice of alternate nostril breathing to help us ground and prepare to rest in Shavasana, and then get us ready for meditation. So you might prop your pelvis up on a folded blanket or whatever helps you to feel upright in your spine without being rigid. So Nadi Shodhana is known to help balance the left and right hemispheres of the brain, activate the parasympathetic or relaxation response of the nervous system, and help us tune to the subtler layers of self. Rest your left hand on your lap. Maybe bring the thumb and first finger to touch to help you focus. Right hand is in Vishnu Mudra, sticking out the thumb, pinky, and ring finger. Closing your lips, you'll be breathing slowly and gently just through the nose. So we'll be using the right thumb to cover the right nostril when you breathe in or out through the left nostril. Then we'll be using the right ring and pinky finger to cover the left nostril when you breathe in or out through the right nostril. Alternate nostril breathing. You might close your eyes or steady a soft gaze ahead. Let's begin by exhaling this breath out. Pause there. Right thumb cover right nostril. Inhale through the left for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold the breath. 3, 2, 1. Cover left nostril. Exhale right. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold 3, 2, 1. Inhale right. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold 3, 2, 1. Cover right. Exhale left. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold 3, 2, 1. That's one cycle. Inhale left. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold 3, 2, 1. Cover left. Exhale right. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold 3, 2, 1. Inhale right, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold 3, 2, 1. Hold, cover right, exhale left, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold 3, 2, 1. That's the second cycle. Third cycle, inhale left, hold, cover left, exhale right for 6, hold for 3, inhale right for 6, hold for 3, cover right, exhale left for 6, hold for 3. Take one more round on your own. When you finish exhaling through left nostril and holding it out, and you're done, relax into natural breathing again. Pause a moment to observe. And begin to lower your body into Shavasana, lying down in a way that you can be still and relaxed for about 5 minutes of rest. Notice what's here now. Since you began this practice today, observe anything that's shifted or changed for you. As you let the breath deepen, begin to move your fingers and toes. And maybe keep your eyes closed. Start to stretch your arms and legs. Maybe gather the knees towards your chest. Slowly turning over to one side. Gently lift your body up. And let's sit in a comfortable upright position for our guided meditation, about 10 minutes. And this meditation is from the book Radical Acceptance. So it's written by psychologist and mindfulness teacher Tara Brach. It's a guided meditation on meeting fear with an open and engaged presence. And she says that you'll benefit from cultivating an open and engaged presence as described in this exercise during those times when you are not experiencing feelings and sensations linked to trauma. So we're not working with that kind of fear that induced from trauma. If your fear is related to trauma or feels overwhelming, the practice of being with fear may lead to emotional flooding and be inappropriate. In these cases, rather than facing fear on your own, it's important that you seek support from trusted friends, guidance from a meditation teacher, or skillful help from a therapist. So know that whatever guided meditation is taking place, that you have agency over your practice. You can opt to settle in onto a focus point that works more for you and is more appropriate. So begin sitting comfortably, eyes closed, or a steady, soft gaze at one spot at eye level, just in front of you. Sit in a way that's not distracting or that you feel confined. You might be looking out a window or at a blank wall or an uncluttered space in your home if your eyes are open. If so, rest your gaze on a point slightly above your line of sight. Soften your eyes so that they're not unfocused, so that they are unfocused. And you are also receiving the images on the periphery of your vision. Relax the flesh around your eyes, letting your eyeballs float gently in their sockets. Take a few moments to do a quick scan through your body, releasing any tension, especially in the shoulders, hands, and belly. Now, with a receptive awareness, begin noticing the arising and disappearing of sounds in the space around you. Spend a minute or so simply listening. Be aware of nearby sounds, noticing their beginnings and endings. Notice the spaces between sounds. Become aware of more far-off sounds, then open to the most distant sounds you can detect. Relax and open into the awareness that includes even the most distant sounds you detect. Sense how you perceive sights, sounds, tastes, sensations, moods, arises and passes away within boundless awareness. Continue with your eyes open, downcast, or if you prefer, closed. Let your attention rest softly on the out breath, letting go into space with each exhale. Follow each breath as it dissolves outward into open space. Feel that your entire body and mind could follow the out breath and dissolve into space. Sense that your awareness is mingling with endless space, absolutely open, boundless. As the breath comes in, simply rest in openness, listening and awake, doing nothing. Then again, let go outward with the exhale. Inhaling, rest in receptive, spacious awareness. Exhaling, relax into openness. You can meditate with the breath in this way for as long as you like. Now, resting in this natural openness, bring to mind a situation that evokes fear. Ask yourself, what is the worst part of this situation? What am I really afraid of? While your inquiry may arouse a story, if you stay alert to the sensations that arise in your body, the story becomes a gateway to accessing your feelings more fully. Paying particular attention to your throat, chest, and stomach area. Discover how fear expresses itself in you. You might kindly invite the fear. Be as much as you really are. Now, as you breathe in, let the breath directly touch the place of most pain and vulnerability. Bring your full attention to the sensations of fear. As you breathe out, sense the openness of space that holds your experience. Feel the fear as if floating and untwisting itself in this openness. What does the fear actually feel like? Where in your body do you feel it most strongly? Do the sensations change or move to different parts of your body? What is their shape? What color, if any? How do you experience fear in your mind? Does it feel contracted? Is your mind racing or confused? With each in-breath, feel your willingness to gently connect with the waves of life that are unpleasant and disturbing. Breathing out, let go and feel how the waves of fear belong to a larger world, an ocean of openness. You can surrender your fear into this vast and tender space of healing. Breathing in, you contact the immediate sensations with a kind and clear attention. Breathing out, you realize you're belonging to the boundless awareness that has room for all of life's fears. If you feel defended or numb, focus on your physical sensations and contact them fully with the in-breath. If you feel as if the fear is too much, emphasize breathing out, letting go into openness and safety. It can help to begin again by listening to sounds or opening your eyes. You might remember the spaciousness of the world or reflect with compassion on all those who at this moment are also feeling fear. You might bring to mind a person or spiritual figure or place in nature that conveys a sense of safety. Once you feel that you belong to a larger world, again, attend to the way that fear expresses through your body and mind. With time, you will discover an artful balancing of touching fear and remembering openness. If your eyes are closed, please keep them closed a little bit longer. Remember that this is a practice that you can do off the cushion as well. You can practice being with fear as it arises anytime during the day. Using your breath, you can allow yourself to touch the sensations of fear, and exhaling, let go into openness. This way, the energy does not get buried and begin to fester. Instead of reinforcing a fearful self who is running from life, you become increasingly confident and feel more fully alive. You might bring your palms now to meet at your heart center as we close this practice. Bowing in with gratitude to yourself for the effort you put into your greatest well-being, to uncovering the core being within you. Remember the intention that you set at the start of this practice. And remember to whom or what you dedicated this practice to. Let's close chanting one Om together. Invite a deep breath in. Thank you for practicing together. The light in me bows to the light in you. Namaste.